Yep. Bon Jovi. Oh, hey guys. It's the Urban Hazard here, making videos like I always do, you know, doing hammer curls, profile to the side, talking about all the things I talk about, building hella muscle and balances over here, because I've done many takes of this, and honestly, I don't know how many fucking curls I could do, okay? But it's for the subs. Elon Musk. John Voight's daughter. So in my last video, I kind of touched on the fact that I feel like this is a new age of development for me, Urban Hazard, Kaz, you know, as you know me. And this kind of stems from the fact that there are a lot of adjustments that I want to make. There are a lot of obligations that have come up in recent months that I want to fulfill. A lot of obligations that I have made for myself and want to be the most optimal person in the good times and the bad so I can fulfill them in the best way I can. You know, I got married recently and guys, I am so happy. And there are so many people in my life, so many new people that I have to love and care for, that I want to love and care for. But let's be honest, guys. Loving and caring for so many new people, you know, it's exhausting, guys. It really is going to be exhausting for me, but I want to do it. Another thing that I kind of do on this channel, it's kind of the whole gimmick of my channel, is I kind of do this within my, you know, my Facebook group, and I also do it within my videos, is and I've always had this drive in my life. Even when I was younger, I was, you know, investing my time in others more than I was investing in myself so they could reach their potential, you know? If my friends like started a YouTube channel, you know, rather than starting my own YouTube channel, I would do almost everything I could do to, you know, get their numbers up. And that gave me so much fulfillment. And I've always had that drive in my life. And I do this all the time with, you know, my Facebook group. And I love doing it. But let's be honest, guys. That is also exhausting. Even more so, even. Keeping that drive constantly. You know, it's exhausting. It's a genuine intention, but it's hard. In that last video, I kind of go into the fact that I think the best way to optimize the way you care for others is if you care for yourself better. Eras when I have cared for people the best, in my opinion, were the eras when I focused more on my physical fitness and well-being and health. And I'm not saying that I don't take care of myself at all right now. That would be a fallacious statement. You know, I lift 3 times a week, I do cardio when I can, and I eat a very, very healthy diet. But unfortunately, it's not calculated enough. My regimen in the gym, in my diets, and, you know, in my sleep and recovery, it's not strict enough for me to reach anything substantial, anything that, you know, I can gauge on a linear basis and use that as an analogy for life, you know, moving forward. Right? I think that's really important in a fitness journey. You have to have a feeling like you're moving forward in some way or another, right? And, well, a little history for you guys. I've been lifting for about 3 years now, and for 2 of those years, I had no idea what I was doing, all right? I thought I did. I really thought I did, because I was watching all the bullshit YouTubers, you know, the ones that pretty much know nothing, all the fake natties, you know, the guys that are all about the fluff and pump, no form of periodized training, just, you know, bodybuilding type, you know, fluff and pump, right? But in the past year or so, you know, I have acquired quite a bit of knowledge. You know, from Brad Schoenfeld, Alan Aragon, Greg Knuckles, you know, all the big evidence-based YouTubers have learned a lot about powerlifting and, you know, protein synthesis, diet, nutrition, pretty much anything that you could, you know, put under the scope of fitness. They've learned a lot about it. You know, not that much. You know, I'm not a qualified fitness instructor or anything like that. But I feel like I have never actually put all of those principles into motion to actually reach something substantial for myself, right? And, you know, I'm a pretty fit guy. I wouldn't call myself super, super muscular, especially for someone who has been lifting for 3 years. You know, I'm still technically, you know, a late novice, early intermediate in terms of strength standards. And I really, really want to up the ante on that. So these specific goals. I am around 190 pounds right now, which at 6'3", this is actually kind of a fluffier state for me, because again, I'm not super, super muscular, right? And what I kind of want to do is I kind of want to return to a previous state that I was at, I think it was a year and a half ago, where I was, you know, most people call it about 10% body fat, but honestly, I would say it was closer to 12%, somewhere in there. But I really was content in that stage of, you know, where my physique was at. But, you know, it's not just because, you know, I want to be shredded, dude. I want to look shredded, right? It's mostly because I have specific goals in certain lifts, right? The first one being the pull-up. I really, really love pull-ups. And honestly, as I'm putting on the weight, because I've been bulking for about, I don't know, 6 months now or something like that, as I've been putting on the weight, it gets harder to do pull-ups, right? It's hard to progressively overload while you're bulking on pull-ups. So I want to cut down the weights and get stronger with weighted pull-ups as I get lighter, because I really, really want to grow this back of mine, because honestly, it's kind of a genetically gifted area for me. You know, I don't really have great chest genetics. My shoulder genetics are okay. My arm genetics are like meh. You know, I could probably reach 16 and a half, 17-inch arms, you know, sometime in the future once I get more serious. But you know, the back for me definitely has to grow, and so do the traps. My traps are pretty much non-existent right now. I had bigger traps in the past, and then I just kind of stopped training them, which is something I should not have done. And I know the logic of some of this may seem a little skewed. It's like, you know, Kaz, if you're genetically gifted in the back, wouldn't you focus on other areas that are lagging for you? You know, like your bicep and your hamstrings and your shoulders and yada yada yada. Well, that's a good point you bring up there, and that's why I'm going to implement, you know, a few strategies and movements that will at least maintain the strength of these lagging areas. So then, when I cut down to that lower weight, they will be a lot bigger than they were, you know, a year and a half ago when I was, you know, 10, 11, 12% body fat. The hamstrings and the biceps are the main lagging areas that I really want to focus on during this cut. Obviously, it's going to be you know, a very rounded strength training program, 3 times a week, daily undulating periodization. You know, I'm going to be squatting 3 times a week. I'm going to be doing pull-ups 3 times a week. I'm going to be benching 3 times a week, and then I have a bunch of other movements kind of spliced in there. So it's going to be kind of a full body type of training. I'm going to really, really try to emphasize things like, you know, the strict curl and, you know, the back squat for the hamstrings. And the strict curl is something that I'm really passionate about. The strict curl, I think it's really, really cool, and I haven't really implemented enough, you know, like discipline to actually get stronger in it. I think it's probably one of the best ways to grow the biceps, in my opinion, because you're completely planted on the wall. Your shoulders and butt can't come off the wall. There's no momentum whatsoever. It's all bicep strength. So if you get stronger in the movements, your biceps pretty much have no choice but to grow, because when you do the free version, you know, you can kind of compensate for your lack of strength by contorting your body, momentum, yada, yada, yada. But with this movement, you can't. And ultimately, I am documenting this fitness journey on this channel mainly for myself. Also, I want to give inspiration to others that are kind of in the same place as I am. They feel like they want to optimize their lives, and therefore they want to, you know, optimize their fitness, right? This is never going to be a fitness channel unless, you know, I get a personal training certificate. You know, if I get there, then yeah, I'll start giving advice to the public, but I'm not qualified to do that. However, the kind of, you know, the kind of content I might make is, you know, like this worked for me. And I based it upon this training principle by this person, you know, and I will plug research and yada, 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 right? But I will never, ever try to say, you know, like, how to build a strong bench press. I might say, you know, like, how I managed to add this much poundage, and I'll come at it from a very, you know, like, logical angle, you know. This is just what worked for me. I'm not saying that you should do it, but this is what it worked for me. You know, just kind of documenting, seeing what works for me, so I can look back on it, and, you know, kind of gauge my results in a linear way. So yeah, guys, it's basically the whole shebang. I'm going to be cutting down to probably around 175 pounds from 190 pounds. I'm going to be focusing on pull-ups. I'm going to be focusing on squat variations, and I'm going to be focusing on the strict curl. You know, all movements I really love to do. And I'm going to try my absolute best to make this content helpful for you, the viewer. And hopefully you like this video. Please subscribe. Please join my group, Beards, Barbells, and Banner, to get, you know, a little more scope of what I'm doing with my fitness journey. And come and document your own fitness journey in my group, Beards, Barbells, and Banner. I'd love to see more about it, and hopefully I'm inspiring you in some way during this whole process. So have a great night, guys.